One thing that, okay, well, I clearly, I shouldn't say clearly, but I think I did like Stampede better than the original, right? So I guess I'll say something. You can chime in on it, shoot it down, or say something.
Yeah,
get your 6-shooter ready.
Yeah, my Trigun ready.
Yeah.
This is Geek Off the Street, your go-to channel for all things from obscure geekdom to modern-day pop culture and everything else in between.
What's up, everybody?
Greetings. Hey, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
One more again.
Yeah. We're back.
Yeah, we are.
As we are every week.
For you.
Yeah.
For your listening / viewing pleasure.
Yes. Yeah.
Once again. Tell who we are, Trent.
Oh. Yeah, you tell who we are, Mark. No. But as you heard, I am Trent.
And I am Mark.
And this is
Geek Off the Street.
Greatest podcast known to man.
Right.
Talking about geek culture, pop culture, whatever the hell else we want. Yes. Yeah. Is that trying to sound rude or no?
It's honest.
It's honest.
And people appreciate honesty.
Yes, they do. Unless it hurts.
Yeah, that's true. And then they want to cancel you.
Yeah.
So
cancel us.
Right. We dare
cancel
you. We
us.
dare you.
Yeah. But yeah.
You know, I want to thought really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got to be careful not to cuss within the first 15 minutes.
Okay.
Because I heard that's part of the algorithm.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
Have I cussed yet?
Not yet. We haven't.
All right.
But normally within the first few minutes.
That really?
Yeah, sometimes.
I didn't know that. Where'd you come across that?
I was listening to another podcast. And they were talking about all the junk that goes into it.
Gotcha.
And they mentioned, I got to watch this and I got to be careful for that.
That's
and I was
tough.
that's
because I always complain about work within the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I can't say non-cuss words about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we should set a timer.
Wow.
That should be a new thing. We set a timer.
Flippin' tough.
Flippin'.
If I can say so myself. But yeah, this week on the exciting episode of Geek on the Street, we are talking about the literally concluded today.
Yeah.
The time of this recording. The new reboot.
Right, that's on Hulu?
Yeah, of a very beloved anime.
Right, that originally came out in the 90s, late
98?
90s? 98?
Or
Okay.
98.
It's got to be 98. I don't think it was 92.
Okay.
It wasn't that soon.
I'll double check, but yeah.
Yeah.
Trigun, sorry.
Right, Trigun Stampede. Right.
Yeah, talking about the new, you're right, 1998 is the original. But yeah, Trigun Stampede
you were
is
right,
the...
because you said it. Yes.
Oh, did I? Oh.
You did. But I'll take credit.
Of the reboot of Trigun, called
Yeah.
Trigun Stampede.
Yeah.
It just premiered in January and just completed its 12th episode run of part 1
Yes.
today, which is the 25th of March. Sure.
As of this recording.
As of
yes,
this
it is.
recording, yeah. So we're going to get into that. But today, we are drinking...
Yes, in honor of Bash the Stampede.
Yeah, in his bright red jacket.
Right? We've got a bright red beverage here.
This is called the Blizzard. It contains cranberry, bourbon, lemon juice, and
Simple syrup?
simple syrup. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we got these super sophisticated round ice cubes up in here.
That's
so the
how
drink
classy
will stay
Blizzard go.
cold longer. The ice will melt slower.
Exactly.
Science, baby.
Yeah. So this is the drink of the day to commemorate Bash Stampede.
Yes, there we go.
And it's sacrificed to the planet of
that
desert place. Yeah.
The planet of that.
Okay. It's a little tart.
It is.
Yeah.
I think the slow melt on the ice is actually mellowing it out a little bit. Though.
Yeah. And
that's
I
not
also
too bad.
spiked your drink a little bit when you went downstairs.
Ah, shit.
With some more.
Oh, no! Oh, man!
With some more simple syrup. So. Yeah.
5 minutes. 5
all it
minutes.
takes. It's all it
5
takes.
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was trying not to cuss. Try not to cuss.
That's all right. Yeah.
But, so you...
I try to add a little more simple syrup to each one to see if it'll cut the tartness down a little bit.
Okay.
And it tastes a little better to me.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. I eyeballed the mixtures. That's why it's not coming off as great as it should be, I think. But all good.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
All
That
about the
makes it
eyeballing.
more your own.
I got it.
Beautiful.
Cool. But yeah, so that's our new segment. Is what we're drinking. We're gonna start the show off with the drink.
Right.
That's a good way to relax.
That's what we're doing.
End of my work week, so
True that,
I gotta
true that.
relax. But yeah, so
Shout-outs?
how are we doing this week? Actually,
Okay, let's do that too.
yeah.
Week was pretty good.
Yeah.
Week was good. I participated in a job-related event.
Yes.
And it was a very big deal. It's a very big, well, I shouldn't say it's a very big deal. Like, I'm participating
You're a
in
big
this.
deal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I'm not. But it was a big event for where I work. A lot of guests showed up. It was a big, this is who we are kind of thing. Check us out. This is where we're looking to, this is the advancements and the progress we've made. This is where we're looking to go, down the line.
Yeah.
It's a great presentation. And then the cool thing is afterwards, they give everyone a chance that attended to kind of mingle afterwards, to hand out business cards. What do you do? That kind of thing. Do a little bit of networking.
Okay.
It's a fantastic time. It's a fantastic event environment. And the best part about it, the spread, the food that they have at this event. Like once the presentation is over, and the presentation is very small. It's not very long at all.
Right.
They get you into the next room. The food, they have things like rack of lamb, like just enough to fit in your hand. You can eat it, and like the lamb is prepared perfectly. But sometimes if lamb's not prepared right, in my experience, then it's just off.
So tough and gamey,
Exactly. So they had lamb.
Trust me, I know lamb.
Right. This guy knows. It had like the perfect amount of like the char and seasoning on it. It was so good. The sides that came with it were great. They're all little handheld foods, and they have a bunch of different stations, so you can try a bunch of different food. They had that. They had little sliders.
Oh yeah.
With caramelized onions and melted cheese and all this kind of good
Making
stuff.
Me sick of how good that sounds.
They had a seafood section where they had oysters, in the half shell, and they had the seasonings you could put on it. And the oysters were so. I'm not a big oyster eater. I maybe had it like maybe once or twice in my life. Yeah, and it was so incredibly fresh. It was amazing.
That's
was amazing
to an oyster.
Right. Yeah. I would
because you can get super sick if they're not fresh.
Yeah,
but well worth the risk because I love oysters.
Well worth the risk.
I love them. Yeah.
At any rate, it was a really good time. The food was fantastic. A lot of great people showed up. Got a chance to talk with some people I don't normally get a chance to talk with. Met people I haven't met before. Yeah. And it was a great time. And then I saw people that I haven't seen in a while. There's a gentleman that we've spoken about on the show in the past named Armando. He has a place in Ontario called Pixels.
Oh, yeah.
He has a game shop. Retro game shop. He's got, and then he has a big spread at the conventions too. At the Creep IE that went down a little while ago.
Yeah.
He started off, he had like this really big section. Now it's become so popular. He's going to have his own room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was very cool. So I got a chance to see him and hang out with him. I haven't talked to him in a while. Yeah. But he gave me a Triforce pin.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was just like, I was talking with him. I said, I was going to wear a Star Trek tie clasp.
Yeah.
This thing. He's like, because I was talking about his pin. He's like, here, just take it. He's like, no, I'm not trying to take it.
Yeah.
He's like, and he took it off and he like pinned it on my lapel.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Classy guy.
Good guy. Classy guy. So,
very cool.
But it was a really good time.
Nice, man.
Earlier in the week, on Sunday, I went to Disneyland with the homies. That was a good time.
Yeah.
And California Adventure did the whole crossover thing. Yeah. Great time, great food. We made reservations at this Italian place in downtown Disney. Okay. Can't think of the name of it. It's upstairs. I don't know. So if you're in California Adventure. Yeah. I said downtown Disney, didn't I?
You did.
I did. California Adventure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you're in California Adventure, go upstairs, and that's where the place is.
Gotcha. So just find a place that has
upstairs. Just go upstairs. Find some stairs, go up them. That's where we were. Food was great, though. And like I said, I had a chance to hang out with my friends. I hadn't seen those guys in a while, so it was a good time.
Nice.
But
very cool.
that was the highlights of my week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Also went to Disneyland on Monday.
Day after
you did?
Copy.
Yep, straight up copying. You had to go with my brother and his family.
Nice,
so that's fun, but it is different with kids. It's very different with kids. So me and my girlfriend are able to just kind of zip and zop wherever we want to go. Is that a phrase?
Zip and zop.
Zip and zop wherever we want to go, and then
needs to be on a shirt.
Yeah, and then with my niece and nephew there, it was different. We couldn't just zip. We had to do some more zopping.
Right.
You know what I mean? So than zipping, but it's still fun though. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun to enjoy it with the kids, because they have a good time, and that's pretty amazing. Other than that was a highlight. This week has been shitty. You already cussed. That's okay.
It doesn't matter. I already blew it.
Yeah. My job, man. I know I complain about my job a lot, but like, this week specifically, I think they're trying to get me to quit or fired. Nah, that's not true. They're trying. They need my help in another place, but I don't want to. They want to send me back to my old building when I left because I was like stressed out there, and I don't want to go back. And they're like, yeah, we need you to come back. And I'm like, I don't want to. And they're like, well, too bad. So going back, I'm starting back over there next week, and I'm not excited. So I don't know, man. I don't know how much more time. And how much more blood pressure I can spare for this company. So yeah.
I would just say tough it out until you're ready to make that move someplace else. You know what I mean? That whole like brachiating kind of thing. You know, don't let go of that one vine until you're ready to grab another one.
True.
You know, take advantage of it as long as you can,
or just jump off the cliff and see where you land.
Make the best of it.
Yeah, I was trying to justify by saying like maybe this is the sign that I need to like finally like take the full leap into what I want to do with my life. So
I was
like, maybe this is another one of those signs where it's like, hey man, you gotta make a jump. You gotta make a jump. So I don't know. Or end up failing.
Because wherever you go, they're gonna, demand some time from you.
Yeah. And I am tired of being dicked around. Sorry for the language.
We already blew it. So
but otherwise, that's been my work week. So been a little stressed out about that.
Yeah, I can do.
Haven't slept much, and the week's over. So
yes, right now you're here.
Yeah.
Greatest podcast known to mankind.
Exactamundo.
Right
so
on. Let me have a quick shout out too.
Yeah.
I know we aren't quite doing shout outs,
but pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're at to segue into that.
Yeah, this is shout out.
But CJ, that's been on the show before.
Yeah.
His dog was really sick and really acting strange a couple days ago on Friday, and we took her to the vet. And they were talking about, we can, do this and we can do that. We can check this, we can check that. We're going to need $2,000 to do it.
Wow.
We're going to need $6,000 to do it.
Jeez.
And we were like, hang on a second. Well, because then we started to kind of like really start to figure out like, okay, what's changed? What can we figure out that might be the cause of all this?
Yeah.
Because it didn't sound like it was anything really serious because they did x-rays and blood work and all that. But we think it was maybe the change in diet has something to do with it, which I didn't realize how big of a shock that can be to a dog.
Yeah.
I know it's a very big deal. It's always talked about, but apparently it can be a very big deal, especially maybe to a dog that's a little bit older too.
Yeah, for sure.
So so just be on the lookout for that, I suppose. If you got a
important.
dog, be careful with that. Get pet insurance. There's another lesson.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, dog seems like she's doing better.
That's good.
Put her on an easier diet.
Yeah.
Just like rice and chicken, that kind of thing. Something really simple. So
that's good.
Sounds pretty good, actually.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually hungry for that.
Right,
but no, it sounds good. Glad, because I do not like when dogs are suffering or sick.
Yeah.
People I can give a shit about, but dogs, that's a different level for me. So
John Wick up in here.
So I'm glad that's going well. But
yeah.
Any other shouts? Do you have any other shouts? Trying to think. There's too many to name these days.
Yeah, right on.
That's
very
with
cool.
how big our channel is now. Yeah, we're all.
But we're looking to get. We've mentioned Batical Radness. He's one of the first people we talked about.
Yes.
We're looking to get him on the show at some point in time.
It'd be great to have him on.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
A friend of mine that I work with named Michael talked about being on the show. Michael will get you on the show too.
Michael.
Right. We got to put the topic out there, see what you might be interested in.
Exactly.
But good times though. So bigger and better things happening.
So unfortunately, my Instagram is just not loading, so I can't read who's followers this week. But we have got some new followers,
right?
So
and we appreciate you. We appreciate you.
But for sure, thank you guys for checking out our content.
Yeah,
we've been working really hard on it. It's a lot of work, not easy. It's tough to get it all out, but we've been doing it.
Right.
And
you've been doing a bang up job, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Bang up job.
But thank you guys for checking it out. It means a lot. We're getting a lot of people that don't follow us check it out too. So
which is cool.
I think it's really getting to the places we're trying to get to. So
right.
It's fantastic. So thank you guys for
checking
out.
We're taking you along for the ride too.
Exactly.
You're coming with us.
Yeah, some of you.
He's like, some of you.
Yeah.
There's an asterisk.
Yeah, there's no bus out there that has unlimited seats. Come on. This be straight. Be realistic. But no, seriously, thank you guys so much for checking us out. It's a big deal. We work hard on it, and it's really nice that we're getting the response we're getting. So, yeah. So thank you guys so much.
2 more shout outs.
Go.
One, my brother, Ronald, had a birthday this week
happy birthday.
on the 22nd. Right. And then another Ronald had a birthday on the 22nd.
Yes, he did.
Our RJ.
RJ. Yeah. He was his birthday last week. He is 57 now, I think.
And looking good.
We went to high school together, but he's somehow 25 years older than I am. So, yeah. It was his birthday last week on the 22nd. So, yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Ronald, my brother, it's out in Texas. Love you. Happy birthday.
Ronald Sr.?
Yes, Ronald Sr. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
RJ's Ronald Jr.?
Yeah. Well, I guess my dad would be Ronald Sr.
So
technically.
RJ is the third then.
Yeah.
So RJ is Ronald the third. Okay.
Right within this line.
Yeah, it is
that we've made up. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Yeah, a lot of birthdays then. Happy birthday, guys.
Yeah. Happy birthday to everybody. Very cool.
For sure, yeah.
Faux show.
So we should get into some Trigun then?
Let's talk about Trigun.
Get into some Trigun. So full disclosure, guys, I have to bring this up. I was going to originally wear this shirt.
Oh, you got a Trigun shirt.
This is a Vast Stampede wanted.
6 billion?
$6 billion double dollars.
Double dollars.
That I was going to wear. The issue is that this shirt fit me maybe 7 or 8 years ago really well.
I can dig it.
So I tried to put it on today.
And it was like super sexy.
I tried really hard. To squeeze into it. It didn't work. So in defiance, I decided to put on the biggest thing that I own. Because it made me feel a little bit better.
Right.
So I'm wearing this Ducks jersey today.
So baggy.
So I felt like I was going to channel my inner Kevin Smith.
Too much weight. Yeah.
So I just needed to put something on to make me feel better. So that's why I'm wearing a hockey jersey on the show. I feel like I need to justify that. But I do have a Trigun shirt because that was a show that I enjoyed a lot.
That was cool.
Going into.
I wonder if we could have laid it out
on the table
or propped it up. I don't know how it would have worked. I don't know how well it would have worked. But speaking of like table decor, we since we didn't have a Trigun model or statue to put up, we put up a gunner.
Yeah, a gunner, yeah.
And he's got red in his visor.
Yeah.
Now everyone's saying that gunner doesn't have red in his visor in the game. And you people, we say shut up. But to everybody else, this is in honor of Trigun.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's obviously from Overwatch, now Overwatch 2. It's Soldier 76 face mask. So
yeah, we try to get as close as we can to what we're talking about.
Right, and then we just justify. We just make up stuff too.
And you're like, oh, there's a couple of the same letters in this name. Let's put that in there.
This is red. This is an
exactly.
Anime.
So so we tried. I almost bought a Trigun gun on Etsy, but I was like, I'd be a little bit smarter. And maybe not buy that one.
There you go.
Not quite. So yeah.
I'm mad at you.
But yeah, so we're getting into some Trigun here.
Let's get into Trigun.
Yeah. So Trigun essentially, what we were saying, is based on 1998 anime,
which is also
anime.
based on a manga.
Yeah, based on a manga. 26 episodes. It's famously popular. One of the classics, I think, in my opinion.
It definitely is.
Yeah, and it's a great show. So they decided to reboot the show and kind of tell a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, a little bit of I don't want to say necessarily modern because it takes place in a whole different time and place, but modern storytelling, modern
our society, I think. Yeah. Very modern. Yeah,
modern animation,
modern music, a lot of very modernizations. Is that a word? That's a word, right? Yeah, I'll allow it. So just like we were saying, it's 12 episodes long. This is part 1. It just concluded today. And we're going to get into some topics about it. Did you finish the first one?
I did finish the first one.
I did finish the first one. Okay, gotcha.
So, so speaking of that, I saw the first one, and because I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
For the viewing audience, the listening audience.
That's one of the few times I've been surprised at what you haven't seen. Because I feel like you've seen most things.
Right, especially from back in that era, that time frame. Yeah. I had not seen it. I'm not quite sure why either. I think... Yeah, I honestly don't know why. I can't remember why I didn't watch it at that point in time. But I don't know, maybe I was just busy with, sucky life. Life sucks. So, so I did watch it. I do like Vash's, I do like that character. I love the fact that he is so committed to not killing. Yeah. Obviously you would want to compare him in that regard to Batman with just the refusal to kill, I love the fact that he sticks to his guns. No pun intended about that. Yeah. So I do like that. The characters are really likable in that. I'm trying to think. What did you like about the original?
First one?
The original.
I liked the setting.
And how old were you?
Ooh, man, I was probably watching it on Toonami, so 12, maybe 11, 12. I liked the Western. It was like a Western, right? A Western space,
it was a sci-fi space Western, which was interesting because there's probably about maybe 5 like
those
of just period that I can think of that are like space westerns.
Right. Yeah.
That includes live action, American, Japanese. There's not a lot of those. It's a pretty rare concept, but it works. It works really well.
It's such a cool mashup, especially when it's done right. You know? Yeah. And I love the Western aspect of it, but in this futuristic, but also not because it's like not dystopian in some ways. But because it was just a really cool setting. I love the characters as well. I loved Vash's entire motivations and why he values life so much when he's kind of inadvertently taken so much life. Not his own fault, but I don't know, his dynamic with his brother Knives. I think it's a really creative story too. I think setting type of story. I'm trying to remember much. Like when I was watching Stampede, I was like, I don't really remember the details of the storyline now and Trigun. I'm thinking back to it after watching Stampede. So I wasn't sure. I was like, wow, how close is this or not? You know what I mean? So I couldn't really make the distinction. But I just remember liking Trigun a lot because it was so different.
Right on.
It had a very interesting world, I think.
Yeah. It is pretty different. They do take in Stampede, they take it in a different direction a little bit from the original show.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, one thing I feel like that I like about Stampede is I feel like we get more details about the world. When in the original Trigun, and I don't know, I mean, if it's based on a manga, maybe in the manga at some point, they probably do explain a lot more about what's going on. And maybe it's completely different in this Stampede. They've just taken a whole different route from the manga, from the original anime. They've taken a whole different route. But I do like in Stampede where we get to see more of this world in general. Like I said, I do like I did like the original, but I feel like I might like Stampede more.
Ah, really?
Which is interesting because I know most fans are probably that have seen both, especially if they've grown up with both. I probably feel like most are going to prefer the original.
Yeah. And this is a hard one to. It's a hard one to watch separately. To watch these two shows without comparing the two.
Right.
This one for me is very hard to not compare the two.
Yeah.
Because one, the original one is not that old in comparison, I think. And I don't think we needed a reboot of that one. I feel like personally. Okay. So it's kind of really hard to not compare the two.
Yeah.
Side by side.
Yeah.
Especially it being so iconic. It'd be like the same as like doing a Back to the Future reboot. Like how do you not compare?
Yeah.
The original.
Oh yeah. I mean, basically with any reboot, right? Because, I mean, we I know this. The Last of Us wasn't necessarily a reboot, but you compared it. I mean, I know I did, but in general, compared it to the game,
especially when it's something that's really good, like something really good or really iconic. It's hard to not like compare the two and something that people really love. You know what I mean? So,
but unfortunately, I think you almost have to. Like everybody has to. Because, I mean, that's just it's natural. I mean, I can't think of anything that we've talked about that we haven't compared it to the original. Even like with Mortal Kombat, we compared it to the original game.
Right.
Again, with Last of Us, with Paper Girls, with the Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
It's there's no way to not do it.
That's pretty interesting because I think I didn't like Paper Girls as much as you did because of the source material. You know what I mean? Because of how good the original comic book was. You know what I mean? So that makes a lot of sense for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings me to another point that I wanted to mention that, and that's the reason why I kind of asked how old you were when you saw the original one. And it actually it doesn't matter because
so the first time I was like 12, right? I watched it on Toonami, and then I watched it in my 20s. I watched it all the way through my 20s again, and I started watching it I think last year. I got maybe 8 episodes in or 9 episodes in. So
sorry, 'cause I think you and RJ were talking about it was on Hulu and you started watching it again.
I started watching it again because they had like
mentioned I think
they were saying it was gonna be that too, and then they were saying they're gonna take it off of Hulu, and then it just all of a sudden didn't. instead.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, I missed that window.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, it's still right there. So
yeah, so it's
let
not
me go
gone.
and watch it.
Yeah, so Trent's a mother effing liar.
Yeah. That's good. That's how they get you to. That's how they get you watched. That's how they get you to tune in.
Right.
The point I was going to make, though, and I guess it really honestly doesn't have anything to do with age. It probably has to do with the fact that what somebody sees first. I think people have a tendency, a natural tendency to imprint on something that they've, if you've seen something or you've heard something originally, like the first time you hear it and you connect with it or you like it, I think you imprint on that, you know, and, imprinting, I know, but for anyone that may not know, like imprinting is that concept of, when something is, especially with animals, with baby animals, when they're born, the first thing that they see that's bigger than them, they latch on to it. Like with ducklings, like you'll see them following a dog around or something because they've imprinted on that dog. They have a natural instinct to, the first thing that they see is typically going to be their mother or whatever. So for whatever reason, they might end up imprinting on something else. It could even be a human. Yeah. And they'll follow that thing that they imprinted on. Right, and I know I'm like that when it comes, I notice it in myself when it comes to music. Like I've heard a song, like for example, one of the songs that comes to mind is from Blondie. Damn, I can't believe I can't remember the song right now. But basically it's based on a song that came out in the 60s. Blondie's really good at taking black music and doing her thing with it. We love you, Blondie. Blondie's down though. There's a whole history there, but Blondie's kind of down. But yeah, so I imprint on this song. The first time I heard that song, it's like this reggae calypso song. The tide is high.
Oh yeah.
So I love that song. It's a great song. So I heard that song, and as a kid, loved it. Later on, I found out again. This was obviously a Jamaican artist. This song came out like in 1969. Okay, I want to say I can't remember the guy's name right now. John Holt, I want to say, was the original artist. Had a little bit of a different style to it. Yeah. But like I said, I imprinted on that song. There's another song. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. I can think of a couple different songs where I imprinted on one version, and then I would hear a later version, or I would hear the original version and be like, wow, I can't believe there's a different version. There's one that came out like 10, 20, 30, 50 years before, but I locked in on that. So I guess that's kind of my point, that I think it's natural for someone, to latch on to that original one, and that's that thing for you. Like that, I'm like that with Macross, with Robotech. Okay. That's the gold standard in my opinion. Yeah. But do you feel like that?
I hear what you're saying 100%. And that is the case for, I think, a lot of things, right? For sure. But yeah, I mean, I guess, and the reason why I didn't like Stampede as much as I wanted to is because it lacked some of the things that made the original one great. Like a lot of the charm, I think. Like the characters were a lot different, which which is fine when you're trying to do a reboot and stuff. But it just there's a lot of charm about the first one that was non-existent in the second one, I think. And while there are a lot of things that I did enjoy about that were, I think, done better, I think just the overall, the feel of Trigun, like the Western aspect of it, I didn't really feel like that was the case in this new one so much. The Western side of it wasn't really a part of it. There were, a couple guns here and there, but it didn't have that same kind of like genre feel. You know what I mean? So I think those were some of the things that didn't quite work for me were the things that worked really well in the first one, I think. But I do see what you're saying, though. I think that's the case for a lot of things. Yeah. For sure, yeah.
I'm going to say... I don't know if we're clearly doing likes or whatever. We're just jump right into it.
We don't like, you want to do some positives, I guess? Or?
Yeah. You want some positive? Okay. Yeah. Some positives about Stampede. I like the world building that they did. I'm trying not to compare it, but I thought they did a good job building the world, kind of explaining the world and why it's in the state it's in, and how the world works.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did like that. I like that his brother Knives I feel like he had a little bit more attention in this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, man, I keep comparing it to the original. He had a little bit more attention in this than he did in the original.
Yeah, much more. Yeah, much more. Yeah, he had a lot more screen time.
Yeah, I thought that was the real. That should have been the real focus of it. I think the show overall, the show focused on that. I think from beginning to end, that was always part of it. That story. That's where it was going for him to have some sort of confrontation or something with his brother.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was part of it. I liked how, well, man, everything I'm doing, I'm comparing it to the original.
Yeah.
I liked the way it looked. Some of the characters it's got this new style of animation where it's the computer graphics. I
was worried that I was gonna for the first maybe 5 or 6 minutes of the first episode, I was like, I don't think I like this. Yeah, because it doesn't even look like an anime to me. Yeah, and then as I got a little further into the first couple of fight scenes, and then I actually started, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks better. That technology and that animation style has improved as time has gone by, because there are a lot of shows. I think there were some shows on Netflix. I can't think of what they're all called right now, but they have like these martial arts style things, shows. I don't know. There's one where like companies sponsor athletes, like Nintendo, Sony sponsor athletes to fight. And the animation in that it's computer generated animation, but it doesn't look all that great. It doesn't flow all that well. I think there's one called Eugen. Like I said, CG computer animation is not great. So it's getting better. Yeah. So this was probably one of the better ones I've seen in a while. So I did like that. Or I should say I like that it's improved. I like that animation style looks a lot better. It's very it tends to look well for the high speed, high action, kind of combat and fighting and all that stuff.
Yeah, the gunfights and the knives and that kind of stuff. Knives as tentacle things, knives. Yeah, I really complimented that a lot. Yeah.
So the special effects in that sense were great. When the first time you see Knives and he does that big gigantic sphere. Blades that he's got going on, like it looks great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know how sharp they could have done that if there was hand drawn like in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then like with the computer graphics, it adds that element of depth to it as well. So that helps too.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the biggest thing that I liked about it was the world building. Vash is not quite the same character. I think his motivations are kind of the same, but I get that he's not quite as charming as he was in the first one, I suppose. Yeah. But on the same note, though, and I say this, lightly, I say this, with respect, he's not quite as goofy though either. Like he was, and I guess that he was intentionally goofy.
Yeah, it's kind of throw off who he is, I guess. Yeah. Not that he was trying to throw off who he was, but like that's just
that was his coping mechanism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's true. Yeah.
You got some?
Yeah. No, I thought I liked that they really got into the background of their relationship, relationship with Rim, why they are the way they are, and what Knives' motivations are for what he wants to do. Like, it's a lot more clear, for sure. And I kind of liked I don't remember the details of the first one as much, but I'm not sure how far they went into the plants and that kind of stuff, and like
they didn't at all.
Wasn't much, right? At all. Yeah. So. When I got to like episode 7 or 8, and they're really getting into the plants and how they were developing plants on those other ones, and how I was like, this is pretty interesting, man. It's actually kind of a creative concept. And I thought that was really cool the way they explained all that and the background for that. Like I was engaged with that a lot. Yeah. And I liked. So I actually did. So I didn't realize that I liked it as much until I got to the very end, right? And when it ends, and I wasn't really comparing it at that point. I was just kind of like, I'm going along for the ride. And then when like he blows up July, and it kind of launches into where the show ends up going to. Like he becomes Eric's and like now and then Millie's showing up. Which is kind of cool.
They took a lot of elements from the original series.
Yeah, they kind of like they did something different, but they kind of had enough things to be like, here's a couple of fan things.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was done so well that I didn't compare it to what happens in the show, like that whole sequence of things. And when he blows up, does he blow up July in the?
I want to say July does get blown up,
because he does get
earlier though. I think it's not at the end of the series,
right? So I think it's like midway through the show,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
so
in the original. Yeah.
And so I didn't realize that they were going that direction, like they did in the show. When I realized that, I was like, oh shit, like this is the different path to get to that same.
Yeah, it's almost like a weird prequel. Almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was like much more. Like the stakes were much more higher in that section versus in the first series, the original series.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that it got to that point, I was like, oh shit, that's where it's going. It's going to where it went, but it got there differently.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that I wasn't even comparing it. Like that was a great way to tell this story.
Yeah.
And so
that was different. I don't think I've seen anything like that.
Right. Yeah. So the very end of the series, I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty good show. I think I was watching it through an eye of comparison. I was like, this isn't even as fun as the first one. This isn't even as charming as the first one. It's not even, the action isn't even as cool as the first one. It was though. The action was pretty cool, but like it's not as like I'm not really engaged with it as I was in the first one. And then at the end of it, I realized like I'm watching a different show. And I realized I was like, this is a different show. And when it got to that point, I was like, oh shit, man.
Yeah.
That worked. I was like, good job. I was just like clapping in my car. So I was like, that was pretty great. So the storytelling was good. Like I was actually pretty engaged. Or I didn't realize I was engaged until I got to the end, and I was like, "Oh shit, man, I was engaged." They got me.
Yeah. I liked another thing I liked at the end of the series that we kind of see what's going on with Earth. Not really, but Earth is in the equation.
It's
now.
still there.
It's still there.
Yeah,
right.
we're sitting here thinking like it was destroyed
or something, or it's or everyone there that's left is just a wasteland over there, and everyone else that got away, they got away.
Right. Yeah.
You know. So that's pretty much the concept of the show is Earth is so messed up that a lot of people have gotten into spaceships and they've taken off and they're hitting somewhere else. And I guess they landed on this planet, at least according to, and again, that's what I liked about Stampede as well, is they showed, I don't want to say showed how they got there, because they kind of show how they got there. Yeah. But it's more in real time, I suppose.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, because everything, I mean, it is in flashbacks too, but there's much more emphasis on the flashbacks than in the original series.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess they were not originally aiming to land on this planet.
No.
Yeah. It's just I don't know if a lucky coincidence they landed somewhere where it was, it was habitable enough.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to like they landed on Neptune.
Right.
Well, they're all dead.
They're just going to die. Yeah.
They're all effed.
Yeah, that's true. And that was Earth has nothing to do with. There's no right. This is the part of it, right. So this is a completely different thing, right? And they even one of them mentions the bug guy. He was or the worm guy. He was saying like, oh, now the gate's open and the rest of them are coming or something like that. So
right. That
was like I think the tie-in. They were like, oh, Earth is gonna like be like, oh, there's this opportunity over there. Let's all go over there now. Kind of the thing.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of that exactly. I didn't know if that was a nod that Earth is involved or other worms were going to be making an appearance or something.
Gotcha,
but I guess kind of at the end of it, like Earth is like, hey, we kind of see something or something's going on over there. So maybe that's what that was.
Oh, and they're still alive.
Yeah.
This Project Seed
they
is
are
still
surprised
alive,
that that seed is still going
over there. Maybe they're better off.
Yeah.
But they're not receiving like full on transmissions like, oh, this is what we're doing now. Like,
right.
Everything's destroyed. So they must have gotten some kind of something.
Yeah.
That's not quite clear. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting because all the people that are on this new planet, did we ever get the name of the planet? Did they ever say that?
I don't think so.
I don't think they ever said it in the first or this new series. They never said it.
Yeah.
But anyways, with this, all the people that are on this planet, they're all the survivors of the seed people.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't know, second, third generation.
Yeah, because it's been 150 years.
At least 150 years, yeah.
Oh, so they're receiving like, are they receiving old transmissions or like what are they? Yeah. What are they receiving? It doesn't really show the message that they get.
Yeah. Right. They don't show that,
just shows they,
Well, shoot, now that I think about it, it's been that long. It's more than second, third generation. 150 years. That's a lot of generations have gone by. So
Right, yeah.
That's interesting. One thing that, okay, well, I clearly, I shouldn't say clearly, but I think I did like Stampede better than the original, right? So I guess I'll say something. You can chime in on it, shoot it down, or say something.
Yeah,
get your 6-shooter ready.
Yeah, my Trigun ready. Yeah.
I did like that they. Again, I talked about how they expanded. We see more world building in this. I did like how they showed all these different cities and regions and how they worked, because I didn't quite understand how they worked in the original series. Like, where is the water coming from? Where are the supplies coming from? How is any of it really working? I know it's a Western and it's set in a desert environment. The only thing that we really saw in that first one was they had an east, where the city was set up and everybody was doing well. That's where Millie and what's her name? Meryl. Yeah, that's where they came from. Newbie.
Yeah.
As they called her. That's where they came from. They came from this established city and they went out west, which is that's pretty much how it was for the Westerns. You had the East Coast, New York, and all that kind of stuff was established. The original colonies, those were already established, and the people would leave the big city and they go to the lawlessness of the West.
Yeah.
So that was cool in the first Trigun, but I like in Stampede how these cities and towns were more established. It felt like a post-apocalyptic setting.
Yeah.
It felt like that's how it would work. You still saw there was some technology.
Yeah.
It wasn't just they were living in, wooden, or not even wood, but just adobe buildings and that kind of thing. It made more sense that they did have some technology and you saw it more, I felt like, in Stampede. So that world, it did make sense to me.
Yeah.
I know you were kind of saying that you felt like it didn't feel like too much of a Western to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't feel because it didn't feel like they blended the genres as well. It felt, because the first one felt more like a Western. Just with some advanced technology here and there because of where they come from. This felt like a little bit more advanced than the original. Than the original one. Yeah. There's a lot more technology. There were a lot more, things going on.
Yeah.
That kind of didn't make it feel like it was a even blend. So I think that was something that took me out of it a little bit.
I would agree with that. I think they were very different. I mean, there was, everyone's running around, they got guns and all that kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But it felt more like a Western. The original, this one feels more like that whole post.
Yeah, the original one still had it had saloons with swinging doors and shit
exactly,
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People were dressed like in a Western,
right?
Which I see now wouldn't make sense really.
I could see it. I mean, you're gonna dress fairly simple.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and I would imagine that's what they were doing too. They were dressing, pretty simple.
True, yeah. But I mean, why were the descendants of these very super advanced people making swing doors and bars an old Western?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless that's all they could get access to. I don't know. But
and again, I think that just goes to what the original show was aiming for. They wanted to make it a space Western. This one felt more like it wasn't quite a space Western. It was more, they have the technology. It's just things are a little bit worse now for them.
Right, yeah.
And I like that they didn't show everyone got wiped out. In the original, they do have some survivors that are living on on their advanced ship. I like that they showed more of the advanced ship.
Oh yeah.
That was, I don't know. I'm just dipping in the negatives too, I suppose. But a big negative for me for the original series was the first half of it. It kind of showed the characters. But it really wasn't going anywhere for me. You don't start getting into the meat of this show until I want to say episode 15 or 16.
Yeah.
In the original. in the original. So I felt like this new one, Stampede, was a lot tighter,
Got
a lot
into it
more
faster. Yeah, that's true. Like the first, I think it's even like 8 episodes or 9 episodes in to Trigun before you really know what's going on. Even like the first, I think even like the first like 4 or 5 episodes, you don't even know Bash's skill level. Because his gun's like broken for the first 3 episodes, something like that. You know what I mean? So like you don't really, you don't like Meryl doesn't even believe that he is who he is until like episode 6 or something like that, or 5 or something like that. So later on, so I see that for sure, and that wasn't as it wasn't as clear, I think, for sure. But it also came out at the same time as like Cowboy Bebop, which I couldn't finish the first time because the first half of the show was about random occurrences in each episode that didn't tie into anything else. So I was like, I felt the same way about Cowboy Bebop the first time I watched it. So could have been the product of the time, maybe.
Right.
Maybe that's how animes were made back then. Yeah. Which I totally agree with. I think they got into it. Each episode tied in a little bit better in Stampede, like for this first 12 episodes, you know. But yeah, so that's for sure I agree with. Are we getting dislikes yet? Or?
Yeah. Go for it.
So what that was I already talked about the setting. Like I love to death the Western thing. Yeah, like I was like a Western in space.
So haven't watched Firefly?
And I watched Firefly. Yeah.
Oh, you seen the whole thing?
Okay, I'm on the last episode. So last episode. Yeah. But I love that aspect of it. I love that it was like there were a lot of gunfights. The gung ho guns were like so awesome. I thought, and then like. The gung guns had like they destroyed that ship, you know. They destroyed the ship in the original show, and like I don't know, maybe they will again in this one, or I don't know
because they don't say what happens in Stampede to the psychic guy, the guy with the blue hair. They don't.
Yeah, he's only.
We don't see his. Yeah,
we only see him. You see him a couple of times, and then I guess he's not even with that worm kid. They're just like they're together in that episode,
right? Yeah,
I think they're not even teaming up really,
right? Not yeah,
and then like the psychic guy, he's not even. What's his name? Legato or something?
Yeah, something
Legato,
like that.
Yeah, he's like he's a part of Knives' crew. It seems like he's one of the.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's definitely
one of the
gung ho
guns. And then you don't really see him at all.
Right.
You see him a few times in the episodes, and then you don't see him at all.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll play a bigger role later on. He is pretty important to Vash's story arc.
Yeah.
Later on, but yeah, there's no mention of the gung ho guns. Are they not going to be a part of this? Are they? Yeah, are they gone? Or I don't know what because that was a really cool aspect of the show. I thought. And then, like the character changes, some of them are cool. Like I didn't mind Roberto; he was cool. I mean, he didn't have a lot to do, but he was. I guess he was like a mentor, sort of, to Meryl in a lot of ways. But like I didn't really like Wolfwood as much in this one as I did in the original one. Yeah, I thought Wolfwood had a lot more.
Yeah, he was more of that, that rogue. Han Solo-ish kind of guy.
I think Wolfwood was like probably my favorite or one of my favorite characters in the original series.
Definitely, and
he had more. Like he went more both ways. Like in this one, he was really black and white. Like just like you kill, or you get killed, and that's it. But Wolfwood in that one, he showed both sides. He had a soft side, and then he had a really dark side as well. In this one, he just had he was just right down the middle to me.
Right,
just a regular dude.
And I did like in the original series his arc, his story thing. I would have loved to see more of Wolfwood in that original series. I mean, he was in it quite a bit in the original, but he was a great character. Yeah. Do you think, I don't know if you remember, but I feel like he was with wink wink what's her name, Millie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay. They spent the night together. Yeah, right. For sure. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But the day before he dies, like
exactly.
Before he dies,
Exactly.
Yeah. So for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's implied. Definitely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure maybe she's gonna play a bigger part in his life. Maybe she's the one that softens him up. Or I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But so far, I don't really. Wolfwood's cool. He's more style in this show than he is depth.
Yeah. I think he was pretty. I did like him in this one because we see more of the backstory for the character, like why a lot of these characters are so superhuman, why they're so extra. Yeah, we see more of that. We see how that came into being, right? Yeah, because that's never brought up in the original. That's kind of cool because like Wolfwood's he's a human in the first one, right? There's no extra. Yeah, as far as we know, he's just a normal.
I think he's just a regular dude.
Guy.
Yeah, I think he is played as a regular guy. He's just, I mean, he's like, you know, better than the average guy.
Yeah.
But he, like, in this one, he's getting shot and like he gets shot multiple times, and he's perfectly fine after that. He heals up fast because he's not human, right? In this,
right? Yeah,
so
he's been modified, and then he's got that serum.
Whatever that's the serum. Yeah. So there's that aspect to it. So I feel like the stakes aren't as high for Wolfwood because he's playing on the same level because he's modified, because he has the serum. So I wasn't like really worried for him at all.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Cause I'm sure he's still gonna die. They have to kill him off, or maybe they won't. It's a different show technically, but the stakes don't seem very high with him, and I don't see. I don't see why they're so important to each other yet, because I don't know. I don't really. I don't know.
You know what? I think he and Vash had a better relationship in the original series.
Yeah,
because it seemed like on some level they were the only two that kind of really got each other.
Yeah,
it was almost like people that have been to war, kind of thing. The same way they can just kind of be next to each other and just they get it.
Yeah,
kind of thing. They don't have to. They don't have to do a lot of talking or explaining. It's like you've been through shit. I've been through shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't need to talk about it to get into it. So I feel like they kind of understood each other.
Yeah, it's like I didn't really buy the relationship in this one. Like all of a sudden you guys are buddies and you guys are friends and you trust each other, but like why?
Yeah,
like where's the
so the relationship was definitely better in the first series.
Yeah,
I do like that they did show that he was modified or that he was enhanced. Because it makes more sense that you would be in a gigantic gunfight and you would survive, because whenever you see anything like that, and they do this all the time with just about everything, there will be 20 people with machine guns shooting at you, and you're going to run and you're not going to get hit, or you're going to, you're going to hide behind, he has that cross he hides behind.
Yeah.
That's not going to protect you that much, not from that many rounds coming at you. So it's little things like that. Yeah. It helps me say, okay, that's the reason why you're surviving. That's the reason why you're not dead yet, because you're faster, you're stronger, you heal faster, you've gotten out of the way, you can predict whatever. That was one thing I really liked in the Stampede, where in the first episode, that general or whoever that guy is, that captain, has his gun pointed at Vash, and he gets right up on top of him, and he's going to shoot him point blank. Yeah, and he pulls the trigger like 1, 2, 3 times, and Vash dodges it each time. Oh yeah, I thought it's like, oh damn, that's pretty dope. I like that. Yeah. You pull like a Spider-Man kind of thing. It's like bop, bop, bop. So I did like that. So I'm back on positive. So
that's fair. No, I mean, I think I already said it, but I think that's what I didn't like about Wolfwood in this one, is that he's he's OP, but justifiably OP. But the reason why I think his death was more tragic is because he can die, versus Vash probably couldn't die, or would be a lot harder for him to die. So now it's like, how are they going to kill off Wolfwood in this one if he's a superhuman that can get shot 10 times and be fine? Yeah, you know what I mean.
I think you can still kill him off. I don't think he's. I don't get the gist that he's invincible, and he certainly doesn't have the healing factor that his brother has. That's a new character. Yeah, he doesn't have the healing factor that his brother has. So I think it's possible for him to die, and. I know I seemed like his brother was based on his mentor or whatever from the first series. Okay. And that's the guy that ends up, mortally wounding him, unfortunately. Yeah. So maybe they could still do that. It's not impossible. But
that's probably being shut down with his brother, probably. It's gonna have to be, because his brother's still alive. So
maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess two super people fighting each other. I guess that could be cool. But I don't know. I didn't feel like I was like worried about Wolfwood at any point in time in this show, because he's a superhuman. Yeah. And he can get shot point blank with machine guns from people and be fine. Yeah. So I was like, so I'm not worried about you.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't get shot point blank, right?
No, but he got shot like 7 or 8 times from a machine gun.
Everybody. The only person that got shot once and died was Roberto.
Right. Yeah.
Because he took that
the nail or whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think I really cared for the characters as much in this one. It seemed very, very even though they did a lot of detail in the background and that kind of stuff, a lot of things were glossed over as far as the characters themselves, I think. And they didn't really feel like, I don't think I really cared about any of the characters as much as I did in the first series. So it seemed like, there's not enough of a dynamic between what they're going through and who they are in this one, I think, personally. So
I'm trying to think how I felt about Vash in this. Like, again, I think he comes off as more likable, I suppose, in the first one. I don't know. I mean, I did like Vash in this one as well. I think, again, in the original, I love his dedication to not killing.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I did not like, or I didn't know what it was supposed to be in the first one, and they didn't really do it too much in the second one, or they changed it, was with Vash's gun. There was this device or whatever that was inside of his gun.
That unlocked his...
that his brother gave him or whatever. So, I mean, I get his brother said, like, hey, here's a weapon. And I like their relationship even in the first one. You know, in the first series was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, when Vash shoots him and hits him in the leg, he's like, you shot me? Like, they're clearly at opposite ends, but he still has love for his brother.
Right, yeah.
You know, and I love this in the Stampede where he has love for... It's not so much his brother as he has love for plants.
Yeah.
For these creatures, these beings. And he reminded me a little bit of Magneto, where he's trying to do everything in his power to save his people from the humans that are just basically taking advantage of them kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I did like his brother. I liked him in both, but I liked his motivations in the second one in Stampede.
Yeah.
And I liked his relationship with Vash in the first one.
Right, yeah.
Because he was still his brother and he still loved him.
Yeah,
true.
True.
That was the cool thing.
Yeah. So I think, so I guess staying on negatives though.
Yeah.
Like aesthetically as a whole, the show didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Right. So like Western, it's very modern because of the animation style. The music, I hated the music. It was very modern.
Yeah.
Very techno-y, and maybe it's me personally, that's not my style of music.
Okay.
And the first one just had a lot more acoustic stuff, guitar-driven stuff, and just I feel like it fit that a little bit better.
Yeah.
The like auto-tune, like electronic pop music didn't really fit this world to me.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of a, I don't know, like it just kind of clashed a little bit.
Yeah.
So like everything just felt like a really clean, like not septic, but antiseptic, like very clean, sterile type of show. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it just felt like there are a lot of modern things about it.
Right.
So that was a bit of a turnoff for me. Like as a whole, like the show just didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. Again, we were talking about comparing things, and
you can't help it.
It's hard to do.
Right.
But I didn't feel about this show the same way I felt about that show.
Yeah.
Because of the aesthetic that show built.
And that's one of the things I liked about it too.
Yeah.
So. Is what it is, right? So
yeah. So
what else what'd you say?
You like what you like, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you said okay. So I know I said that very confrontationally. What'd you say?
Yeah.
What'd you just say right now? Any other negatives about the show?
Not really.
Yeah,
not really. I overall I thought it was good.
Yeah,
it was a good show.
Good.
But for like maybe the first 7 or 8 episodes, I was kind of like, did we need this show? Like, why did this get made? Like, did we need this? So I wasn't really seeing the point of why we needed another version of this classic. And I enjoyed it. It was cool. But yeah, I was kind of like, not bored, but like for the first, like 6 or 7 episodes, I was kind of like, why?
Yeah.
Why do we have this? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think the thing that I like best about it is it fills in a lot of the details that I felt like were not in the original, you know? And I think what it boils down to, too, is what you said. The original, the Trigun, the original is a classic. So I would really be curious to hear what other people have to say about that.
Yeah.
People that, like I said, for me, the original Trigun, I know it's a classic.
Yeah.
And I will always say it's a classic, but it's not necessarily a classic to me because I just watched it.
Yeah.
Right? And so now I'm a guy that's, much older, right? And I'm not watching it in real time in the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's a very different thing. Like, do you feel like the show, the original Trigun, is one of those shows that is rewatchable in today's age? Do you feel like a kid that's 12 years old could sit down and watch this and enjoy it?
I think it would be hard for a kid because of what they're already exposed to. Like for what a 12-year-old has access to now, and style of animation or anime, that it's very different. Yeah. So I think
that makes
Trigun is it's slow in the beginning and it's not as stylized. It was stylized for the time, but it's not as stylized now. So like a 12-year-old now, I don't know, maybe not. If his parents have good taste, then and they get him on the right thing, then maybe. But I don't know if a kid would just like turn it on, just start watching it out of his own choice. Unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to know what RJ's opinion was because this is RJ's definitive favorite anime, and I really wanted to see what his comparison was to it. You know what I mean? Because he would be the authority of the three of us, I think. Right. Because this is his favorite thing. And he can compare it, and really really speak to it because he's seen it so many times. He knows it really well, and and so I don't know. It would have been cool to see that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it today, but that would be.
And the thing is, I get that too because again, for me, Robotech / Macross, that's one of the defining shows for me. Like that's especially when it comes to like Robotech. And I say Robotech and Macross there's a whole history there. We're not going to get into that right now. That to me, that's always going to be like the gold standard for me. Like whatever things I may do and or create, it's always going to be bounced against that. It's always going to be compared to that. So that's up in an upper echelon for me. Right. But I don't know how well somebody that would watch that today how much they would enjoy it.
Because I've never seen any of them, and I wonder if I were to go watch them now, if I would have the same feeling that you had towards it then.
Right. I would say probably not because just for the same reason. Like I was a kid, I was probably somewhere around 12 when I watched that. And again, it's one of those things where I could defend that all day long. I think the storytelling is fantastic in it, but it may not be anything like, well, I've kind of seen this before. Which would be natural. The artwork is very different, so that might kind of be a little bit.
Have you watched it recently or as an adult again?
I have not actually. I have not. That's actually a good idea. I should probably check that out and see. I don't know where that's. I don't think it's streaming anywhere. And I think I've seen some of it. I've seen some of it on certain platforms, and it's edited, and it's like they've cutting out whole scenes, and it's disgusting. But I mean, once I saw the Macross Summer of '84 movie, that was it. That blew me away. That's I can't even talk about it.
Well, because I'm pretty sure because I went on when I was probably 24 maybe or 22, and I'd gone on like a kick of like revisiting all the anime that I watched as a kid. So I was like finding on eBay, and I was like, how do I find this? Where do I get this? No streaming at the time, when I was in my early 20s. So I like ordered them on eBay, like Half.com. Like I found Trigun, I found like FLCL, I found all the shows that I watched as a kid. And more often than not, they're still held up. Right on. Like so this would be 10 years ago when I watched it, revisited Trigun, and it's still held up. I thought I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it the same way I enjoyed it when I was younger. Yeah. But that was 10 years ago. I haven't really seen it again since then. FLCL still holds up really well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there's a lot I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
I mean, there's a nostalgia factor with some of that stuff. I mean, again, it kind of goes back to the whole imprinting thing, something that had that impact on you. Yeah. When you're watching it again, hopefully you are getting something out of it. I know I tried watching, and this is a long time ago now that I think about it, but as a kid, I would watch the Three Stooges.
Oh, okay.
Because it would come on TV every once in a while. And I remember watching them again when I was older, when I was an adult, and it didn't have that same magic, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's weird, though. I've also gone back and I've seen some of like the Little Rascals and Our Gang, and that's still good, that's still gold. So it's I don't know. It's one of those.
That's true. Like I'll still watch like The Sandlot.
Right. Yeah.
Every couple of years, and I still love it. You know?
I see that.
I'll still watch like Field of Dreams all the time. That still hits pretty hard. So I guess maybe it depends. So some things age well, some things don't.
Yeah.
I think.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think Stampede's cool. It's very good for a modern audience.
Right.
But it doesn't capture what I loved about the first one so well. So as much, as I'd like it to. But
and I like that it expanded on a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think one thing I didn't like about it, the ending, I'm not a big fan of like the super CG, over the top stuff in your face. Fight. Right. Yeah. You have the one-winged angel fight. Yeah. Right.
And then immediately I was like, that's Sephiroth.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And then they had the giant, plant lady that was growing out of the city kind of thing. It's like, why are we doing all that? So
so I didn't need that.
I'm not a huge fan of, but overall I still liked it. So on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score for this was a 61% for Stampede.
Yeah.
What is your number?
What is my number?
You want to give your number for both? Or do you want to give your number just for Stampede? You haven't seen the original in a while.
I haven't seen the original in a while, so I'm gonna go back and read. I wish I would have gotten through it before we did this episode. Right I wanted to really have a better comparison.
Yeah.
But Stampede was cool. It wasn't like an anime that like for example, My Hero that just got me back into anime. It wasn't like it didn't have that kind of effect on me. Because I was kind of bored maybe the first half of the show. But I think it is a good show, and like the ending was really good, and I'm excited to see where it goes next.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give it like a 77.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
76.
Yeah, I did watch. I wanted to make sure that I got through the original Trigun, so I started watching that a while ago, and then I kind of stopped for a week or two because stuff was going on, and so that I finished it up this weekend, and then I went right into watching Stampede. So I was able to watch.
So you're like fresh.
Yeah. So I was able to watch them almost back to back. I think I definitely liked the new one, Stampede, a little bit more for different reasons. I think, again, I like the characters in the first one, but I'll probably give it's hard to judge the first one because, again, like for all those reasons, it came out so long ago. And I don't know, it's hard to kind of judge them by the same standards, but the new one, I might give that and maybe like an 83.
Okay.
Because I did actually, I really enjoyed that. I did like it. I liked some of the concepts behind it, the plants and how they worked.
Yeah.
So I am curious about seeing the next season. And I loved his brother, especially in Stampede, because we got to see more of him.
Yeah.
And I thought his motivations were legit. He wasn't trying to be some despot. He was trying to save like his people.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess that was different because, Bash and Knives they're plants, so to speak, or whatever. So you got to watch the show, guys. You haven't seen it yet. And the original, I might give that maybe a 79, maybe an 80, because again, the characters are great, and they had some really some great. Is it ancillary characters, like some side characters? That were really great in there. Like in the second one, Brad is in it.
Oh,
and the first one, Brad is different.
Oh, he's
He's
a younger dude.
I thought his story arc in that one episode was fantastic because he goes from hating Vash and then being jealous of Vash because the girl that he loves is into Vash.
Yeah.
And he goes from all the hate and the animosity and the jealousy and the competitiveness that he felt for him to understanding him. And then when everything was about to go wrong, he jumps in front of him and he saves his life.
Oh yeah,
his thing was great.
Yeah,
his thing was great. I loved it. I loved Wolfwood's story.
Yeah.
Wolfwood. Yeah. I loved his story in the first one was great. And then his last man, it sucks to even think about it right now. His last line was, "I don't want to die."
Yeah.
And it's like,
you finally see a little more like depth, a little more of who he really is,
Yeah. And he went through some real ups and downs too, because he kills someone and he looks and sees everybody's looking at him like you're a monster.
Right.
It's
Exactly. Yeah.
The first one was really great. It has some really great moments in it.
Yeah.
There were some things that I like I said, I wasn't a fan of, like that whole his gun transforming and turning into all that kind of stuff. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but I did like that he saved his brother in the end. He refused. I loved that he refused to kill.
End,
I love that. I love that. So I might give that like an 80. I might give Stampede maybe like an 84, maybe 85 kind of thing. Because I really did like it. I enjoyed that. It was an easier watch. Because I know I was getting a little upset, like, because there's 26 episodes and I felt like you only really needed to watch like the last 10 to get into the story. A lot of it was just they were just episodes or whatever. So that's kind of my beef with it. But it's still good though. Still great characters, and it is great characters. That it took place like back that it was came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it was airing on Toonami. I mean, there are always great animes. Anybody that's into anime knows there's always been great animes where characters live and die and love is lost and all that kind of thing. And there's all those elements in Trigun. So
yeah, definitely, for sure. Cool, man. Well, yeah, you guys check it out yourselves. Make sure you don't have to watch the original one to watch the new one at all.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So check out Stampede. It's probably more modern day speed. But if you want to see where it came from, check out Trigun as well.
Check out the original,
Yeah. But yeah, you guys let us know which one you guys like better and tell us why. And I'll tell you why you're wrong.
unless you agree with me.
Unless you agree with me, yeah. And I'll probably still find a way to tell you you're wrong. Anyway, that's going to be our talk on Trigun. Let's get into our last segment. What are we into this week?
Well, like I said, I watched Trigun and Trigun Stampede.
Yeah.
So that was about it.
Yeah.
I did watch, man, I can't believe I can't remember this guy's name, and I made a point of it too. There is an Indian... I don't think I've ever watched an Indian comedian. He speaks English, obviously, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because I guess the comedy it was good, and some jokes are directed at his demographic, which is natural. That's no surprise.
Yeah.
But a lot of the jokes are really good, and I guess he did a special at one point, and he commented on it because he was getting like death threats and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Called My Two Indias, where he talked. It was really one of these like. It was a gut check, I think, for the country. And that's why a lot of people didn't like it.
Okay.
Because he said, my India is an India where, girls are allowed to go to school they support the family and they taught me everything that I am.
Right, yeah.
But they also can go down the street and they can get, sexually assaulted by a gang. He basically says gang raped, essentially.
Okay, yeah.
So it was things like that. Where he was saying, there's this good and there's this beautiful side of it, but also these bad and these terrible things are happening as well.
Yeah.
And he got a lot of flack for it, apparently.
Really?
Like he was like blacklisted, death threats.
Holy crap.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think he kept going. He had movie offers and all that stuff kind of dried up, but I think he kept going, kept doing what he felt was right because there are a lot of people that supported him as well. So he has another special that came out and he had a big support, big crowd. I cannot think of the guy's name. I'm going to look it up, but I think that's the biggest thing I want to say that I've seen.
Okay. Yeah. I've been just on, I think I've been like not branching out. I've been like a rewatch. I'm pretty sure I've used all these that I've been saying over the last couple weeks. But I started watching the episodes of The League again on Hulu. Yeah, it's one of the funniest shows that I think I remember watching in my modern times. The way I remember watching the show and being like, I want to make a show like that has clever but also loose comedy, very conversational comedy. Like these are real friends talking to each other.
Yeah.
It's a very funny show. Even if you don't like football, you don't have to. It's so funny. It's one of the funniest shows I think I've seen. And I'm rewatching it again just because I need to have like one show that I've already seen It's like they'll just kind of like it's like a comfort show.
I gotcha.
If
That's cool.
like a wind down show, or like on my lunch break, I just need to watch something to make me laugh because I'm pissed off all the time at work.
Right.
So the League is that one now, and it's so funny, man. It's I'm like remembering things that I've seen in the past, like this is one of my favorite episodes. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's that thing. Oh, that happens, that thing. I was like, oh, shit, yeah, it's that same episode. And then I'll like, it's pretty awesome, man. It's a really, really funny show. So I'm doing that. And I think that's all I really watched this week. Yeah, that's probably it.
That's cool. No, I get that. I have some comfort shows. Like I'll turn on Pluto.
Oh,
and because they will like they got like 50 episodes and they'll loop them basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll do that. I'll turn it on and I'll watch Death Note. Hunter x Hunter.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Love Hunter x Hunter.
Right. Yeah.
So no, I get it. And that comedian's name is Veer Das.
Okay.
Veer Das. I apologize.
Okay.
VIRDAS.
Nice.
Yeah. So
very cool.
That's that guy.
So I'll check him out. Cool. Is that it? Do we make it?
Yeah.
Make it through the episode?
That's it.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. You guys are welcome.
That's the point.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a fun time. I don't know where I was going with that.
Wow, you really sold that.
I don't know where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought.
It is late, so
it is a little late. I had a long work week. I had to work an extra day, so I'm like, I'm a little fried right now.
And mad at the world.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm angry at the world. I'm not happy with. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a little burned out, so I apologize. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, you can find us everywhere. We're on all the streaming platforms. We're on Spotify,
YouTube, TikTok.
Yeah, we're on YouTube and TikTok now. We have Reels. So for all you short attention span people, we got TikTok. We're on YouTube Shorts now. Instagram Reels. We're everywhere on the short stuff, but we also have the long form stuff on YouTube. And if you still just want to listen to the audio, that's still there on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. And leave us whatever ratings, comments, anything you can do to help us out would be great. Share it.
And you get some different stuff on the Spotify too. You know, the intros.
Oh yeah, it is a little bit different.
It's a little bit different.
So I started to edit a little bit differently. Yeah. So that's
so you can listen to both and get something different out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're welcome for being,
Wow.
We're just so like fresh.
Right.
Yeah. All this stuff. Yeah. You guys are right. Next week. We're talking about, you know what we're talking about next week?
I do. Do you know what we're talking about? Let me hear you say
I always know what we're talking about next week. Next week, we're talking about Bad Batch Season 2. The show will be ending next week.
Right.
Or that season will be ending next week. And we're going to be on the cuff of it as always.
Yeah, I am a few episodes behind, so I will get caught up.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen one episode of The Mandalorian so far.
I've seen 2, and let me tell you, I don't think it's that good.
I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah, I'm going to be straightforward. The first 2 seasons are phenomenal. They're great shows. These first 2 episodes are not great.
They're not in it for you.
It seems like somebody else is making these, not Jon Favreau. It's really just spectacle and just kind of like random shit that doesn't make sense. So I don't know, it's just me. Maybe it all ties in, but I don't know, man.
Slow burn.
I'm like, this is kind of dumb, actually. Some of the stuff that happens is kind of dumb. So I can't wait to see pitch meetings and see how he breaks it down when the series ends. But yeah, so Bad Batch next week. Cool. And if you guys want to tune in for that next week, make sure you guys catch up.
You like Star Wars?
Yeah.
Of course you do, you jerks.
Yeah, who doesn't like Star Wars? If you don't like Star Wars, what are you doing with your life? You must be very unhappy. Yeah.
Fix it. Come on.
But yeah, that's it. We made it. Yeah, that's gonna be it.
Right.
Thank you for tuning in.
Right.
As always, we'll see you guys same time, same place next week. And my name's Trent.
And I'm Mark.
And this is
Geek Off the Street.
God, yeah, don't start.
You're good.
I'm burning out, man.
Really burning out.